Hi, everyone. My name is Carl Carter, and I am the founder and executive director of the Beverly Carter Foundation. So thankful for all of you joining us today for this Mobile Monday. Hope that you all have had a good, reflective, and busy Realtor Safety Month. Of course, every September is Realtor Safety Month, and sadly, coincidentally, it's also the anniversary of the loss of my sweet mom. And my mom was Beverly Carter, and I'm going to do this a little low tech today. So I'm just going to hold up a picture. Um, this is my sweet mom. My mom was an agent here in the Little Rock, Arkansas area. So um, I'm your neighbor over to the west, and my mom had been in the business um, for a little over a dozen years. And this month, 6 years ago, we lost my mom. She was deceived by two people, a husband and wife, who had a plan to kidnap her and hold her for ransom. And so I won't, take your time now to walk you through the events that led to kind of, um, their plan of deceiving my sweet mom and kidnapping her and ultimately ending her life. But I want to invite you to a session that we will be having specifically for you on September the 30th. And during that session, we'll take an hour, and I'll walk you through everything that happened to my mom. And the reason why I do that, as hard, um, challenging, emotional as it is I do think that my sweet mom, her story is one that we can learn from. I believe wholeheartedly that my mom, um, her death was 100% preventable. And so it is my hope that we can come together on September 30th, and we can learn together and walk away from my mom's story feeling empowered and inspired on that last day of Realtor Safety Month, so we can make positive differences in our business. I'll also share that on September 30th, when we have that section, that will be 6 years to the day since my mom's body was found. So that will be a somber time, but also it's an important day. It's important for us to reflect upon her sweet life and the the impact that she made. Um, And today, let's just take a few moments because it is Safety Month, and I wanted to just share a few tips with you, if I may. Just things that I hope that you'll be considering. And quite frankly, if you have any comments or anything to add, and you'll hear these things going into our session on the 30th. And I hope that you can join in the dialogue and help us with the exchange of ideas. So when people ask me, like from my vantage point, because I joke because mom was a realtor, so I grew up a realtor as a realtor kid, and I always said, just listening to my mom's stories, that I wanted absolutely nothing to do with this industry. And here I sit as a realtor in the Little Rock, Arkansas area. But when people ask me about what are the top tips that if there was just something we could, wave a magic wand and make all agents do it, what would they be? And I always think back to my mom, and I it would have made such a difference in her situation had my mom had proof, verification, validation of the people that she was working with. And so it sounds simple, right? But it's so easy, I think, for us to get caught up in the hectic schedule of being a realtor. But one, I hope that before you meet with new buyers in vacant properties, that you are meeting them in a public place, whether that be the office or a coffee shop. I know this is so tough with COVID right now, but I hope if nothing else, worst case, have a Zoom and have a consultation before you meet at a property, and that adds another layer of accountability to new clients. And quite frankly, I think as you pitch this to new clients, you can also tell them that this is an important part of the service that you provide, and it gives you an opportunity to build some rapport. Next is that I hope that when we have this opportunity with new clients, that you will approach new clients and take it as seriously as we do fair housing. And what I mean by that is that the way we screen clients and what we insist upon, whether that's meeting in a public place or another safety tip that I always impart, is to get a copy of the ID, share it with a trusted colleague, and keep it secure. And so, but with that, it's important that we put those processes in place, regardless of who we are working with. I think that my mom's story resonates with so many people because it was a husband and wife that kidnapped my mom, and so many people, and I'll tell on myself here, I think that prior to this happening to my mom, I would have, due to, my life experiences and my biases that I'm even unaware of that I was bringing to the table, I would have thought um, that a new buyer situation with a husband and wife, because there was a wife involved, that there would be just next to zero uh, probability or possibility of violent crime occurring. And so that's a wordy thing, wordy response to how and why we should just have the realization that bad guys meet no definable profile, come in all shapes and sizes. And so I hope that you are mindful and consistent, because not only is it good for your safety, but it's just the right thing to do. Um, and then, maybe one more thing that a couple more, is that my mom's story, as we walk through that, there were a number of times that we can kind of gather and assume safely, I think, that my mom was likely facing, that guttural, that instinct of yikes, something's a little off here. And so I hope more than ever you can connect with that God-given instinct that we all have, and trust it more, and don't be afraid of it, and don't feel as though you have that you are looking weak or that you are seeming unprofessional. um, I had posted something on Facebook yesterday through the Beverly Carter Foundation, and it was a tip, and the tip was that if you begin to feel uncomfortable in a situation, to make an excuse to get out of there. And there was an agent that commented on it and said, and I loved it, because what a great, and I love how we can kind of get each other back in line. And that agent said, don't even make an excuse, just get out of there. And that really resonated with me. And I hope you will have that kind of gumption, and just take your personal safety just that serious. Because we could always, just say that something came up, it was an emergency. Who knows? You could come up with a number of things that, if you had perhaps read a situation wrong, there are a number of things we could talk through with, kind of reconciling. I know that because of what happened to my mom, I find myself, I'm hypersensitive about all things safety. So I, I have been known to be a stickler, and to, maybe jump out of situations. But I'll tell you this: I would much rather be a little overreactive to a situation and getting out of that situation, than for my kids to have to grow up without their dad. Um, and as harsh and as that sounds, my mom had been in the business for about a dozen years. She loved the business. She had probably, through all that time, she had worked with hundreds of clients, and toured thousands of properties, and all it took was one couple and one showing, and it was all over. Everything was over. I lost my best friend. And I know we all love our mamas, right? And so I'm sure you can identify with just how unexpected and how tragic that has been to our family. last thing I want to impart to you for a safety tip this month is because of COVID, we are all, whether we like it or not, we are all stuck at home more than we ever have been. And as you can see, I'm coming to you live from my living room. Um, and more than ever, we should have a baseline of normal, regular, safe activity as it exists within our neighborhoods. We should know, when roughly when our neighbors are coming and going, and the types of cars they drive, and if there are houses for sale on our street, we know to just kind of keep an eye on those properties. Uh, but as we'll discuss next week in Mom's story, so much of the crime itself, at least the shell of the crime, was kind of witnessed firsthand by the neighbor. And, so I hope that, that even through my short description today and then next month or next week, excuse me, that you'll be ever mindful of just keeping an eye out in your neighborhood, and you'll feel empowered to say something if you see something suspicious. And I hope you'll impart that to your kids too. I think what I've seen, and I know for myself, is that prior to this happening to my mama. I never wanted to look like I was being a nosy person. I didn't make eye contact because I didn't want to get into someone else's drama. But oh, how I wish for the pieces of crime that had been witnessed by the neighbor, how I wish they would have been reported there in the moment, because that neighbor, even, it didn't come out till much later when they were questioned by detectives, but it it could have made a big difference had it been, reported 4 to 5 hours earlier. So um, those are big my big safety tips. One thing that I want to tell you about what we're doing in the aftermath of losing, my precious mom, is as I've told her story, we I've met a lot of agents that have also been victimized. And when people tell me, or ask me, what are the types of victimization that I see the most, that I hear the most through our nonprofit? Um, Please know that my response that I'm about to say, this is non-scientific. I'm not keeping a record, but my experience has been that if I'm hearing from agents that have been victimized, it is related to um, stalking and harassment, and sometimes even assault related to creeps. And that it comes in all forms, not just trying to get these agents alone in properties, but also just the online behavior of so many of these men towards our female agents is nothing less than disgusting. And we have to put support mechanisms in place, because a lot of people don't know what to do. They're afraid. They're like, well, is this seems too minor to go to report it to law enforcement, or they don't want to hurt their business, or they don't want someone to think that they in some way provoked this inappropriate behavior, so they don't report it. And so I want anyone that may be listening today, or maybe you could make it known within your brokerage itself, that to anyone, not just the ladies, but if anyone has been victimized through any of those ways, stalking, harassment, assault, it's not your fault. And we are here as a resource to help make sure that give you the support as your friend that you need, but also to get you in touch with resources so we can report it and we can stop that behavior immediately. So we have since losing mom in 2014 and hearing so many stories, I just got fed up of hearing about so many agents and the ways that they're being victimized, and there are just inherent risk associated with our industry. And so we find ourselves working alone. And so I wanted to do something. I wanted to be a part of the solution. And I should say, back to my sweet mom, she would be mad at me if any of you walk away from this Mobile Monday or any session that I've ever been a part of with the spirit of fear or doubt or paranoia. it is my life's work and the work of the Beverly Carter Foundation to help empower you, hopefully inspire positive change. It doesn't honor my mom for people to be afraid. We just want to put good processes in place to know who we're working with and to do as much as we can to discern the intention of those people. Are they truly interested in buying a property or selling a property? And then we want so we have this nonprofit named after my mom, and it has been the biggest blessing. We have about 30 volunteers across the United States, and I hope that if you will engage with us on social media, if you would like to join us in trying to help keep people safe, I would love that. And of course, if you have any safety tips that you'd like to impart to other agents, whether that's through some cool way that you're using technology. I know a lot of people are often interested because I have a cloud camera strategy that I take a portable cloud camera with me to my open houses. So just through kind of out of the box thinking with technology, we can certainly keep each other safe. Last thing before we stop today, I just want to encourage you all. You said, "Well, what's the actionable thing?" Carl's told me to do these things, and yeah, I'm going to try to start doing. I'm going to get consistent with asking for IDs. I'm going to get consistent with my buyer consultations. But something you can do right now, your cell phone. So if it's an iPhone, Android, they both have the same features. They just call them separate, different things. I would encourage you to take some time this afternoon and make sure that your SOS features are on. And through that, what you have to do, though, it's not just a matter of going out here and just starting it. You have to determine if you find yourself in a bad situation, who is that circle of friends? Who are those colleagues? Is it your broker that you want to be notified? And then you have to have a conversation with them because if they get that notification, what should they do? Um, so I hope that you and truly I hope that you have someone in your life that you love and trust that you could go into this phone and turn on GPS sharing at all times with that person. So if that person wanted to know where you are at any time, all they would have to do is go to your contact information and click on your GPS location and find out where you are. The beauty of that is that one, of course, it's built upon a foundation of trust. Um, but also, if you were to find yourself, God forbid, in a situation that you needed to let someone know kind of where you are, what you're doing, this is a good foundation that someone will at least have access to where you are or where you've been. And there's, no having to pull something out really quick and be reactive to try to quickly hit a panic button or something. I think panic buttons have their place, but as for me and what we do at the foundation, we want to focus more on the preventive strategies to keep you from finding yourselves in a situation like my mom did. My precious mom was working so hard for this couple, and then on the second floor of a vacant property, suddenly the situation turns and my mom had a taser in her side. And it is my life's work that we would give you enough ideas, enough tips just to help keep that from ever happening again. As I close this Mobile Monday, I hope that you will engage with us at the Beverly Carter Foundation, and I hope that in some small way these few words have made you a little more mindful of the people that are on the periphery of your career, your family, your friends, your loved ones. Um, this is bigger than you. There are people that love you and need you, and so if not for yourself, which is a good reason. But if not, and if that's not enough, I hope that you will be ever mindful of all the people in your life that absolutely adore you, and I hope that you will keep safety at the forefront. Um, Please do continue to engage on this. And if you want to reach out to me, my email is carl@beverlycarterfoundation.org. And so anything leading up to our session next week, if you have any questions or tips, then we'll make sure that we address them in that session. And it truly will be it'll be a really good session. And a little emotional, but it will be special to spend that day with you all. So uh, stay safe. Keep safety at the forefront of everything you do, not just during September, but God bless you guys. Wishing you prosperity and health, and of course, a career full of safety. Take care, everyone. Bye.